Donald Trump has lived like royalty, gold towers, private jets, the works. But even he was stunned by Vladimir Putin's palace, a secret kingdom of bunkers, tunnels, and billionaire-level excess. Before we unlock its gates, let's explore the world's most outrageous presidential residences, starting with one that hides its luxury in plain sight. Few leaders on earth live the way South African President Cyril Ramaphosa does. His official residence, Malamba is not merely a home, it's the crown jewel of Brenterian Estate, a 260-acre presidential enclave nestled in Pretoria. This vast, high-security zone includes its own golf course, helipad, and private government district, completely walled off from the public. But it's Ramaphosa's private residence that steals the spotlight, a grand Cape Dutch-style mansion built in the 1940s and now transformed into a fusion of heritage architecture and modern fortification. With sloped gables, symmetrical wings, and thick whitewashed walls, the house exudes both elegance and dominance. Step inside, and the scale only grows more astonishing. The estate houses lavish reception halls, private lounges, executive offices, and a formal dining room that can seat 60 guests. Outside, it is surrounded by 12-foot-high barriers lined with thermal sensors, motion detectors, and over 200 security cameras. A network of 8 kilometers of electric fencing guards the surrounding residences, which include more than 20 luxury homes reserved for ministers and dignitaries. The numbers behind this lifestyle are staggering. In just 5 years, the South African government spent over $5 million maintaining Ramaphosa's 3 presidential homes, with Malamba consuming nearly half of that budget. This included backup generators, emergency water systems, and even air-conditioned wine storage rooms. Yet for all its grandeur, the residence has become a lightning rod for criticism. In a country plagued by rolling blackouts, water shortages, and widespread unemployment, such lavish spending on presidential comfort has not gone unnoticed. Public audits have revealed excessive expenditures on imported marble, designer furnishings, and luxury landscaping, all funded by taxpayers. Still, for Ramaphosa, Malamba serves a critical dual role. It is not only a sanctuary of comfort but a command center complete with bunkers, emergency evacuation routes, and shielded communication rooms. Hidden behind security and symbolism, it remains untouched, a fortress, a stage for diplomacy, and a living museum of South African power. Tucked in the very heart of Paris, the Élysée Palace is more than just the official residence of French President Emmanuel Macron. It's a living monument to France's royal past and present-day power. Built in the early 1700s as a private mansion for nobility, the palace today spans over 300 rooms, dressed in silk-covered walls, antique chandeliers, and hand-painted ceilings. Macron doesn't just live here, he governs the world's 7th-largest economy from within its gilded walls. Inside are ballrooms for state banquets, secret underground command centers for crises, and one of the most prestigious gardens in Europe. The famed Golden Room, where Macron signs executive orders, glows with 18th-century furniture and gold trim, while the ambassador's salon stuns with red velvet and historic tapestries. But behind the elegance lies a storm of controversy. Maintaining this grandeur costs French taxpayers tens of millions of euros annually, covering everything from flower arrangements and gourmet chefs to a presidential wine cellar stocked with thousands of bottles. Macron hosts kings and prime ministers here, dining beneath marble domes and custom chandeliers taller than most people. Yet while the elite sip fine wine behind closed doors, public protests rage outside, fueled by inflation, wage stagnation, and rising discontent over inequality. One recent breach of security, where a stranger slipped past the palace gates, only added to the tension. For critics, the Élysée represents privilege. For Macron, it remains a powerful stage where policy, tradition, and spectacle converge. Hidden behind layers of fountains, iron gates, and mystery, the National Palace of the Dominican Republic stands as one of the most majestic and secretive presidential residences in the Caribbean. Located at the heart of Santo Domingo, this architectural masterpiece looks, at first glance, like something from a European monarchy. Built in the 1940s during the Trujillo dictatorship and designed by an Italian architect, the palace was meant to project control, grandeur, and authority. And it still does. Massive columns, flawless marble facades, and hand-sculpted stonework dominate the exterior, but what lies inside is an even more calculated blend of elegance and hidden power. President Luis Abinader didn't just inherit this architectural time capsule, he quietly modernized it into a fortress of style and strategy. Beneath gold-detailed domes and beneath ceilings painted with frescoes, Abinader's office sits atop Persian carpets and beside furniture stitched with royal crests in gold thread. Yet behind this old-world beauty hides cutting-edge tech, fiber optic networks, encrypted communication systems, and hidden security checkpoints built seamlessly into the palace's classical design. Some say there's a secret elevator leading to an underground escape tunnel, though no official confirmation has ever been given. With photography restricted and public tours rare, most of what happens inside remains shrouded in silence. Only staged press events offer glimpses into what is arguably the most private power center in the Caribbean. Despite its low profile, the palace's price tag speaks volumes. Analysts estimate that annual maintenance and upgrades under Abinader's leadership exceed $1 million, factoring in imported artwork, custom-built furniture, and high-end security systems. But the real value of this palace isn't just financial, it's symbolic. Rising from one of the oldest cities in the Western Hemisphere, it represents stability, heritage, and absolute presidential command. Abinader may not flaunt his lifestyle, but his residence does the talking, a quiet fortress of influence, a national monument, and the most photographed building in the Dominican Republic, even though the public barely sees what lies inside. While most presidential palaces lean on history and grandeur, South Korea's current leader, Yoon Suk-yeol, made a radical break from tradition. Instead of residing in the famous Blue House, a centuries-old symbol of Korean authority, he chose Hanam-dong, one of Seoul's wealthiest and most discreet neighborhoods. This high-security enclave is better known for billionaire compounds and embassies than government transparency, and that's exactly the point. From the outside, Yoon's residence appears modest, almost unremarkable. But beneath its quiet facade lies a military-grade fortress, rebuilt with tens of millions of dollars in classified upgrades. The decision stunned the nation, not just a shift in address, but a calculated move toward unparalleled secrecy and strategic control. Inside, the Hanam-dong compound is anything but ordinary. Yoon's office is lined with hand-finished Korean oak inlaid with gold, while hidden throughout the building are soundproof conference rooms, a biometric-secured vault, and a personal gym constructed to military specs. Even the dining room doubles as a sealed safe room, complete with its own oxygen supply and satellite communication system. An integrated defense network controls every access point and connects directly to South Korea's National Intelligence Service, giving Yoon real-time command during any crisis. The outer walls are coated with anti-surveillance paint, and even satellite imagery is blurred. No public tours. No press cameras. No ceremonial glimpses. This isn't just a residence, it's a ghost fortress, built not to be admired, but to be unseen. While South Korea's presidential compound hides in silence, Turkey's AK Saray does the exact opposite. It roars with power. Towering over 1,500 acres in Ankara, President Recep Tayyip Erdogan's White Palace is anything but modest. With over 1,100 rooms, it eclipses the White House, the Kremlin, and Buckingham Palace combined. Costing an estimated $600 million to $1 billion, AK Saray was built on protected land once belonging to Ataturk, sparking fierce protests and legal battles. Yet Erdogan pushed forward, blending Ottoman imperial flair with ultramodern state dominance. Inside, bulletproof glass the size of billboards, marble-clad halls, and ceilings so tall they require drones for cleaning speak to a scale few can comprehend. But this isn't just spectacle. Beneath the surface lies an underground command center, anti-aircraft systems, and emergency tunnels engineered for wartime continuity. AK Saray doesn't whisper power, it broadcasts it, unapologetically and in full gold trim. While Erdogan's palace dazzles in marble and gold, Xi Jinping's hidden kingdom, known as Zongnanhai, operates behind layers of silence, secrecy, and imperial legacy. Tucked beside Beijing's Forbidden City, this sprawling government compound stretches over 2 square kilometers, enclosing ancient temples, tranquil lakes, and secluded courtyards once reserved for emperors. But behind its red walls and armed checkpoints lies something far more formidable, a modern fortress of absolute control. She's rumored residence. One of the southern pavilions is shielded by facial recognition towers, infrared sensors, sniper outposts, and drone-blocking tech. Beneath the ground, secret tunnels link halls and even lead to remote bunkers outside Beijing. With its own power grid, emergency hospitals, and encrypted communication centers, Zongnanhai functions as a city within a city, built not just to rule a nation, but to withstand any crisis. It's a place few speak about, and even fewer truly understand. If China's Zongnanhai rules from the shadows, then Ali Bongo's presidential palace in Gabon is its dazzling opposite, a coastal fortress that flaunts its power in broad daylight. Perched along the shores of Libreville, this marble-clad estate looks more like the retreat of an oil tycoon than a head of state. Originally built in the 1970s by Bongo's father, longtime ruler Omar Bongo, the palace has since been radically expanded with private beaches, helicopter pads, and underground layouts so secretive they've never been publicly explained. Satellite images reveal a massive complex bathed in light at night, its white marble walls and gold-accented columns glowing against the Atlantic. Inside, it's even more surreal: Italian chandeliers, gold-plated cutlery, massage rooms, and rumored private casinos all scream excess. In a country rich with oil but shadowed by inequality, Ali Bongo's palace is not just a residence, it's a bold, unapologetic statement of elite power built to dominate Africa's skyline and command the world's attention. Nestled along the banks of the Pasig River, the Malacanang Palace is more than just the home of Philippine President Bongbong Marcos. It's a monument to legacy, luxury, and lingering controversy. Originally a Spanish colonial mansion built in the mid-1700s, it has since evolved into a 16-hectare presidential compound featuring guest houses, gardens, golf courses, and even a Versailles-worthy state dining hall. Inside, opulence takes center stage: velvet drapes imported from Italy, crystal chandeliers hanging from sculpted native hardwood ceilings, and rooms themed by historical era. The presidential bedroom itself once required a custom-built air conditioning system just to keep its handwoven ceiling cool. It's not just where power resides, it's where it performs, with every polished floorboard reflecting decades of dynastic weight. What makes Malacanang even more surreal is that Bongbong grew up within its secret-filled walls. His father, Ferdinand Marcos Sr., ruled the country for over 20 years, transforming the palace into a labyrinth of escape tunnels, sealed chambers, and gilded furnishings, some of which are still under scrutiny as possible missing national treasures. With Bongbong's return, the palace reportedly underwent quiet renovations, biometric access systems, high-tech surveillance upgrades, and a redesign of the presidential wing. Even the rugs, made of Filipino silk, were custom woven with the presidential seal stitched into every edge. Whispers continue about an underground theater and ballroom, allegedly built in the 1980s for elite soirees and secret deals. It's the kind of myth that only makes sense in a place where history and legend blur, a palace that doesn't just remember power, but relives it. In the heart of Cairo's elite Heliopolis district stands a residence so immense and secretive, it dwarfs most presidential palaces in both scale and ambition. Welcome to the Heliopolis Presidential Palace, the official residence of Egyptian President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi, a structure originally built in 1910 by a Belgian architect for use as a luxury hotel. Today, it has morphed into something far more imposing. According to leaked documents and whistleblower reports from 2021, the Egyptian government quietly began constructing a second hidden palace complex within its grounds, complete with underground bunkers, secure tunnels, and a new state wing lined with imported marble. Now part of a sprawling web of high-security government infrastructure including military command centers, intelligence hubs, and classified residences, the Heliopolis Palace operates like a city within a city, sealed off from public view. Inside, the extravagance is staggering. El-Sisi's private quarters are said to feature European antiques worth millions, walls wrapped in Italian silk, and solid ebony doors carved by hand. The palace includes floor-to-ceiling crystal mirrors, Austrian imported lighting systems, and encrypted communications networks embedded throughout. From Versace-designed dining halls to gold-accented elevators, every detail is engineered for both luxury and security. There's also a full-service medical clinic with elite doctors on 24-hour standby, an indoor spa, and a private underground bunker reportedly built to NATO specs, a structure so classified, even top Egyptian officials are rarely granted access. The cost? Though never officially released, insider estimates suggest hundreds of millions of dollars. And while critics decry such opulence in a country plagued by economic hardship, El-Sisi supporters argue that this palace isn't just a home, it's a monument to Egypt's resurgence and its claim to global influence. Among all the opulent presidential residences in the world, none match the jaw-dropping audacity of Vladimir Putin's alleged palace on the Black Sea. Referred to as Gelendzhik Palace, this isn't just a home, it's a fortress built like a royal yacht and guarded like a nuclear facility. Leaked reports place the estate's cost at over $1.3 billion, a number so staggering it reportedly left Donald Trump speechless when he was shown classified details. Sitting atop a private cliffside with its own no-access beach, the compound spans over 190,000 square feet and is wrapped in layers of surveillance towers, steel barriers, and shoot-to-kill security orders. The airspace is restricted, and even Russian officials require special clearance to approach the second checkpoint. But it's inside where the extravagance truly escalates. The palace is larger than both Buckingham Palace and the White House combined. Italian stone lines the outer walls, while the ceilings are hand-painted like cathedral frescoes. The interiors feature walls padded with Italian leather, gold-plated bathrooms, and crystal chandeliers so massive their cost rivals that of entire mansions. There are elevators in polished wood, and the presidential bedroom is reportedly the size of a luxury hotel lobby. One detail says it all: a single toilet brush allegedly cost over $1,000. Yet all of this is just the surface. The real story lies underground. Beneath the palace is a labyrinth of secret tunnels carved directly into the cliff. One leads to a tasting room inside the rock, with views of the sea and a private elevator that connects to a hidden beach entrance. No stairs, no public access. The underground world also includes a theater, a hookah lounge with a stage, a casino, and a nightclub called Aqua Disco featuring a stadium-level sound system and illuminated dance floor. Add to that a medical center, spa complex, saunas, cold plunge pools, and even a beauty salon. There's a skating rink, an underground wine cellar, and a climate-controlled greenhouse growing exotic fruits not native to Russia. And yes, there's even an ostrich farm. Security is, predictably, off the charts. Anti-drone jamming systems, biometric locks, steel-reinforced walls, and pressure-sealed rooms make the palace impenetrable. The surrounding waters are patrolled by naval vessels when Putin is on site. But perhaps the most mysterious detail: the property doesn't legally belong to Putin. It's owned through a maze of offshore companies and shell accounts tied to billionaires within his circle. Every attempt to trace ownership hits a wall. Yet everything from the furnishings to the guards matches his style and his inner circle. When drone footage of the estate was leaked by opposition figures, it didn't just expose luxury, it shattered the image of Putin as a cold, disciplined former agent. This wasn't just a palace. It was a statement of unchallenged power, silent, gilded, and utterly unapologetic. If you enjoyed this journey through the world's most extravagant presidential palaces, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. More incredible stories of power, wealth, and mystery are coming your way. Stay tuned and be the first to uncover what's hidden behind the gates.